viewers. Welcome to Writing Theatre, where we get to chat with and meet great media personalities. I am Omodolapo, your host, and my co-host is
Josephine Alakbe.
Today. Our guest is a professional cinematographer, an award-winning producer, a movie director and editor, and is a special kind of filmmaker that can blend drama, social issues, and a lot more into a movie. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I feel good this morning.
I'm not sure I have properly introduced you to our viewers, so can you please introduce yourself in your own style?
Actually, you have. Well, my name is Asurf Oluseyi. I'm a movie director, producer, and editor. I write as well. Creative director, Asurf Films Limited. We run a production company here in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, sir. My first question is, what inspired your interest in cinematography and when did it happen? Is there a backstory? Can you give us a background of when everything started coming to life?
I hope I don't get into trouble. So growing up, I've been so driven by quite insane level of curiosity. I was a bad child to my dad in a very funny way that it has turned out to be at least produce something good. I used to damage our VHS back then. So we had this VHS player, and so at the time my dad got it, it came with a super nice feature, which is the record feature. It's not always common in all VHS player, and my dad doesn't use it. We only just play movies from our VHS to the TV, and I've tried to figure out, okay, there's this record button. Is it that we can record ourselves? And prior to that time, I used to wonder if the people in the TV are always there sleeping, waking up, and how are they in that box and they're not dying? Like, so many, there was no access for me to the internet to make research. There was nobody that around me that I could ask questions. So I just started playing around these devices, swapping the connections. I just read it. Okay, this one in, this one out. Okay. What if maybe if we want to record from TV to and then one day I figured I could record a TV program on the VHS cassette, and that was the beginning of it all. Since that time, I think the only tape that I did not damage in the house. So I have to fast forward the tape to maybe like half of the tape and then record my own programmings. And my own programmings are like maybe movies on MBI that time because there was no way to watch movies. So you have to wait till midnight to watch movies and it's never fun. So I always try to record on tape, which is piracy. You don't do that. Right. And then it was so beautiful that I can create something that I do not own, like just mixing connections, swapping cables, and then I'm able to record something from the TV. And I was doing that. The only cases I didn't damage was Shawaride by Tunde Kelani Mainframe Productions then, because I love Shawaride. It was my interest into understanding how come some movies are like this and some movies are like this. And I was tailoring towards movies from Mainframe Production then. And for some reason, I just felt I have to respect most cassettes from Mainframe Production in the house and not to damage them because I have personal interest for those cassettes. But every other cassette in the house, yes, I did some damages. And it's just from that. And then I mastered that act. How I can rewind and even do it from beginning or just wipe the entire tape and then record something on 2 hours. Okay, so sometimes it will be on 3 hours cassette and then I record 2 hours programming. Just fast forward 1 hour ahead and just using the existing device. And gradually I started understanding that okay, there are better ways to get images than recording from the TV. Like I can also create these images, and that was the interesting. Okay, what if I get a camera? What can I do with camera? I know now. Okay, those process that I was doing is just editing, right? How about I can create my own content and then I can edit it, and from editing in camera to using I can't even remember the application that we used to Pinnacle. Yeah, Pinnacle. I'm sure some OG will know this. So editing with Pinnacle back then, then I started exploring internet, learning online, and then mastering the art. And yeah, today it's been quite an exciting journey.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
and I think my process and my approach from beginning hasn't heavily changed. Today is just also still I'm still being most of my creations are birthed from curiosity, and my approach to learning is still going to the internet.
Wow,
Yeah.
beautiful. So, is it safe to say that you were motivated by the movies from mainframe production?
Um, Style, yeah, heavily motivated, right?
Beautiful.
But generally, it's just curiosity on how are these people on TV? How who create these things, and how are they being made, and that's it.
Okay. So the movie L or I Water
Yes.
won the International Film Award
Yeah.
for Best Narrative Short in 2016.
Mhm.
Can you share your experience working on that project? And at some point, how did you feel about it? Did it contribute to your career in general after the production?
Yeah. So LHi Water was my second short film, and I made LHi Water I think a year before my first solo film, which was Akunde. And so before LHi Water, I did A Day with Death that won the AMVCA, and I was very intentional after AMVCA. I wanted a project that I can create that can give me a better leverage than what A Day with Death did. And to get that, AMVCA is still like our most prestigious award as of today. So for you to either get the next stage will be maybe get 2 plaques, right? Or maybe get
Yes.
something from AMA. So, and for you to get to this stage, it means you have to create stuff that can match up for those stage. And one of the rule is try to do something that everybody seems to not want to do, right? If everybody can do it, then it's easy. But if it seems like people are trying not to do it, then okay, you might. If you create something nice, you get attention. Even if it's not attention, you create something that could drive conversation. All right. So I was approached by an amazing company called TS, and they said, "Yo, we saw your short, we saw your CV, and blah blah blah. We wanted to create a short film. It's called LHi Water, and it's around LGBT. Do you think you can create something around LGBT or a queer content?" I said, so as at that time, I do not fully understand LGBT. I until so I had to ask like, okay, so what is LGBT? And then he break it down to me, and I took a pause. I said, why do you think there should be a type of content that I can create? Like he said, because we've approached like 2 other directors, but people have different opinion and they try not to judge them. So they want to also have they want to have this at the premise of the conversation so that we both align and understand what we're about to create. I said, okay, if people are trying not to do it, and then I want to do it. And then I asked for the script, and they sent me the script, and then I started researching because in my study of work, you can't create what you don't know. You can't create what you don't understand. So the first thing you want to do, at least you creating of your imagination and of your own understanding. It means whatever you're creating is your own understanding of that thing. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Okay, because people have diverse opinion about stuff, and there's context as well. So you can best tell a story based off your own understanding of it. I was born in a white garment church, and I identify as Christian, and I grew up with a certain type of belief until I started traveling, and then I started fleshing out a lot and started learning and unlearning some stuff. So it came at a stage in my life where I was very open to pretty much everything. And I started learning, I started questioning my own truth. So my own truth about my own belief system, right? Okay, so as a Christian, the Bible say, love your neighbor as yourself. So, and then when you look at it from that perspective, how do you judge someone you love? How do you claim to love someone and then in the same space judge them? Or how do you create characters and then you already judge, you have a bias towards, you have prejudice towards the characters that you're creating. Obviously, you will only write that character in a way that you want that character to, and it doesn't mean it's the truth. In fact, prior to making LHi Water, my perspective about gay characters, male, is different from what I learned in my research. And it is all better from also all based on what I watch, the way gay characters have been portrayed in some of Nollywood movies. And then I realized that it was all false. Like they don't look the type of way. There's no specific look. And that interest, I think, really drew my love to want to make LHi Water. And I told you guys, I said, I would love to tell this story. Right? I think I've checked everything. Your concern, I understand your concern. Now I understand your concern, but I think you are on the right desk. I would love to tell it. And because one, I have the creative access to tell any story, right? We have, they now asked, okay, do you understand the law? Nigeria have law. I said, come on, guys. Nigeria have law against corruption. We have corrupt characters in movies. Nigeria have laws against prostitution. It doesn't stop us from portraying character because people can run away with one idea, right? Yes. That they've been fed for so long, and that they could make that idea the truth, and that's not the truth. If you never meet a queer person, you can never understand their own reality, what they deal with every day. And if nobody's telling those stories, we will run away. We will be living and assuming that the world is from our own perspective. So I felt I honestly would love to do it. And then we jump on LHi Water, and I did it, and it eventually came out the way it returned what I expect it will. And what was that? I believe that we're going to create something that will drive conversation. There will be some people will try to want to box you. Yeah. Some people will have opinions about you. But hey, for a guy that has been very influential in a little way in the evolution of Nigerian entertainment industry. I was there when the comedy was breaking out. I was there when it blew up. I was there when the music that today you call Afrobeat, the Nigerian music was traveling. I was the sole guy that was archiving most of the footage back then, right? So my company could survive regardless of, you can't cancel the company. I have been the official content creator for Google Nigeria prior to that time. I've even traveled, gone over that. I felt no, I can't suffer the backlash. Don't worry. And then we did, and the movie traveled. It started a lot of conversation. People said a lot good, some people said a lot bad, but the short film delivered the purpose. And what was the purpose? To drive conversation, to get people to talk. What's your fear? Why are you so scared about people who choose to love differently from your type of loving, right? What's your fear? What would you lose, right, if you allow people to live their own truth? Do you get? Yes. And it did. It was screened across a lot of international festivals. I got questioned by a lot of both local and international media. There was some guys that came to my estate to interview me, and we had a lot of human conversation. And then the title of, they still put everything that we did, but the title, their caption is the gay director.
Have to do that.
Right, and at least they have, you want to, if that can drive people to click and maybe read. So it's one of my best content that I'm very proud of.
So, what is the greatest challenge you've experienced while directing movie, and how have you been? How were you able to overcome the challenge?
So if I put over all of my creations, I'll say the greatest challenge is finance. Raising the right fund for your film is tough, especially in a country like Nigeria where there is no film funding. There is no, you can't even go to the bank and say you need a loan to make a film. Like the bank will look at you and laugh. They don't support any entertainment content because they feel like there's no structure guiding the industry. And you can blame the practitioner because at the end of the day, if the government is not creating financing or creating an enabling structure that could help creators, creators can only risk their own life savings and create what they feel they can monetize. So it's easy to judge a Nollywood film by the quality. It's easy to judge a Nollywood film by the story. It's easy to judge a Nollywood by anything, but you have to be very fair. Like what you're judging wasn't created for you. It wasn't created for you to criticize. It was created for someone by someone who think they understand a market and they understand their consumer and they feel that what they are creating, their consumer will like it and they will consume it. They will like it. They will make their money back and then go and create another one. And that formula has worked, right? So you are judging what you probably do not understand. It's easy to judge the university's educational standard because you could have another university that is well funded and they have a better teaching or educational system than others.
Yes.
In our industry, it's all man to man. So not by gender, say okay, only man, but like I say like human to human is what you have, the body that you have to create what you can create, the body that I have to create what I can create. So it's hard for you to use my film to judge another film because you do. I could have good accessible network to raise finance on my film, and that person might not. And then are we not going to say okay because you don't have this kind of access, you should not create?
So
It's
so
not going to
far,
work.
can you say?
So I would say finance
Yes.
is the biggest. There are other challenges in every form of creation to any artwork. Any art form, right? You will always have challenge. I don't see those. I work my way to this stage in life. So challenges are what drives me the most. Challenges are the stuff that actually motivate me to. In fact, if it's not tough, I feel like I'm not doing well enough.
Yes.
I'm making a film currently that I've been on for the past 4 years. So
Wow.
it's and in the we haven't finished it. So I've been back since May. We've been back since May, and we've been trying to raise more finance to complete the film. Right. So you say I don't see those troubles than the financial aspect of the creative process. It can be very tough to convince people to give you money to create an idea that you have in your head because whatever you are telling them is projections. Oh, this movie can make 100 naira, it can make 300 naira. You have to convince them to still, they have to be able to believe that truly this movie, okay. And the metrics to convince people is quite very wide. So you realize that most of the time, your best easily convince people are your friends and family. People in your network that can just gamble on you. Say, okay, just take that jig. So it's very tough to have an industry like this.
So, after the release of the movie Casanova, did you for once expect criticisms, and how did you think you were going to counter them? Because Nigerians are fond of criticizing what they do not understand. So, were you expecting criticisms, especially from the Twitter angle? I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so I don't think Nigerians do criticize what they don't understand. Criticism is a global culture, and it is not really, really bad, right? People have the right to their opinion on any creative work. Sometimes it helps you as a creator to see from another person's perspective and see maybe, okay, there are some stuff that we could have done better. In fact, before you criticize anybody's work, trust me, the creator's already seen some of their loops before they release it. They would have said some things like, oh, I wish we have more money. We could have done this one better.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we have more money. We could have done. I wish I have this. I wish I have a jet. Like they would have also seen some things like, so you can never have there's no perfect film globally. So and I think every creator have this at the back of their mind. Yeah, it's very hard to accept because you've went through pain, sweat, blood to create this stuff, and it's never a good to soak in when it's a negative feedback. But for me, I don't say it that way. Number one, when I'm creating for an audience, and 100% they are my interest. I'm not even creating for myself because sometimes I have to write and rewrite and then share before producing, share with just random people to read and then tell me, most especially people that can tell me, they can call my bullshit without me feeling offended, right? So that they can tell me the way it eats them, and then the fact that they also have opinion doesn't mean I must always onboard every feedback. Like I have this power. I'm the creator to say, okay, this one truly, I could add this one, I could change this one, and do all of that, right? So that's the way I see criticism. And Casanova wasn't the first. Like even when we did Akunde, there were some people that felt like it could have been more funnier. Like there were some people that felt that they liked the fact that we didn't abuse the actor because we had Toyin and we had Frank Donga. And if you're a fan of Frank Donga, you expect to see Frank Donga that you see online in the movie, and there is a complete different Frank Donga. So for somebody that wanted to see the movie because they say Frank Donga, the guy that used to go for interview, and thinking that that's the kind of character that they will see him play in the movie, they might feel disappointed, right? And their reason will be valid. For me, I'm telling the story of a guy that is looking for a job, right? And then he never gets a job, and then he had to work his way into surviving, right? And if I tell it the way Frank Lunga's character alter ego, it will be like, okay, I'm just literally carrying over that alter ego into a film, and that wasn't there. So it doesn't mean that their point of view is wrong, right? I just need to know, okay, what they're saying, it's valid, but that's not what I'm telling. That's not the story I'm telling, right? Oh, okay, you think that we could have liked this place brighter? Okay, yeah. If you have the access to also create it, how about you do it in your, like, there's no one way fit of telling story. Like that's the creative right that I think everybody has. I've created it in the best way that I can, in the way that I feel that I want the story to hit the audience. And if some of my audience think, this is it, they should be my interest and not dwelling on the negative aspect of it. I read most of the reviews, and I just take up the ones that I think, okay, this one truly, and then do better in the next one. And the one that I just cap, I just leave it to, okay, that's opinion, and it's right to the owner.
So personally, how do you see the Nigerian movie industry in terms of quality a decade from now? How do you see it? And do you have suggestions for quality improvement in the Nigerian movie industry?
So quality control in Nollywood, I think it has been a good trajectory, right? It has been a good run, judging from the people before us and what they have created, right? And what they were able to create with limited access to the kind of technology that we have today. Look at it. People shoot movies on phone now, right? They never had that access to easy digital camera. During the Ogunde's time, they shoot on film. And if you're familiar with film, unlike digital that you can watch, you can preview, you have to shoot it again. This doesn't look and play back immediately. You can't do that with film. Sometimes they have to take the cartridge to out of Nigeria to like UK for preview. Right, and situation around funding hasn't changed. And they were also using their own personal fund to create films back then, right? And from then to now, Nollywood, where our forefathers and the people before us started making films with the few accessible digital cameras. cameras that were not designed for movies, okay? That were designed for broadcasting, right? They're not for film. They were for broadcasting, broadcasting camera. And some group of guys could think and say, you know what? These cameras, we can use this camera to make a movie. And started using broadcasting camera to shoot home videos, right? And what they've been able to do is to still keep the art form, continuously create content continuously tell Nigerian story for Nigerian audience, and some of the stories even travel, right? So looking at the effort, it will be undeserving to be judging quality control, right? Then we grow from that to now we have access to better digital cameras, DSLR, and then to now film digital cameras. And in all of this technology evolution, Nigeria has played a huge role. Like there has never been any time in the evolution of film camera that you can't tell Nigerian films. You would always have some Nigerian films in all of this era. So give it to every creators that has been a player in the industry so far. Yeah, today we now have access to more cameras, more affordable tools, more easy editing tools. At some point in the new Nollywood, right? Even though I don't say old Nollywood, new Nollywood. At some point in the recent, like my generation, we started losing touch with storytelling because we were so gassed with the technologies, right? It was just about aesthetics, the lighting, the mood, the look, the camera angle, the camera movement, and all of that. Whereas paying less attention to the main thing, which is the stories, right? And I think also at some point, people started understanding, okay, it seems we're losing our touch. And the biggest selling point for Nollywood movie is our story. Like we are a generation of storytellers, right? And that's why our movies could travel easily and can be watched anywhere in the world and people still understand it, right? And I think now people are gradually finding the balance between exploring technology and telling amazing and compelling Nollywood story. So quality control wise, it's hard to judge. You can think, okay, what you have today is beautiful picture. It looks more better than the old days when we have VCD and DVDs, right? But you can only say that because you are talking now. Now we have AI creating videos, right? Wait till what other creators will create in the next 10 years, which will also join the catalog and portfolio of Nollywood films. It will be very hard to judge. So you can only judge quality control based on what's tenable within now, right? Looking at the journey so far, I think Nollywood has evolved and it will keep evolving regarding quality control.
Sorry, Olakanye. So do you have any suggestions for the movie industry in terms of content?
It'd be very hard for me to have suggestions for the movie. I'm quite young.
Yes.
From my company, we're just on our second. It seems like we've done so much, and it's easy to think because we don't only just make films. We do other video related contents, right? And but from us, film wise, we're currently doing our second film, like our second solo feature film, right? And we've on Aya, we've produced for other companies at least like 3 movies. So if to put all in that's like 5 in our catalog. So I'm not the best person to give advice. I can only say from my own journey, like what has helped me so far is understanding that you lose nothing for not making the film now. Like you absolutely lose if you think the story is not ripe yet, right? Or you think you haven't raised the right finance to create what you have in your head. Please don't do it now. Alternatively, how about you collaborate? Find people that could also contribute, even if it's not financial. They can bring in their own value that could reduce your production cost, and you will still be able to create what you have in your head. The idea of just this pressure of this my colleague has done 5 films in 1 year and I haven't done one. I just have to just do it. I just want to do it. might not create, you might not get the best results.
Yeah.
So, right? And that's, it also doesn't mean it's the best way. This is just my way. If the story is not right, if it's not yet fully developed, please spend more time to develop the story. If the finance is not right, please get the right financing before making the film. If you can lock these two, you create a masterpiece that could live beyond you. Like in 10 years, people will watch back. It wouldn't look like, okay, a 10-year-old film. Like it will still look like, okay, I made the best film that I could have made 10 years ago. Like I could watch Akunde today and still like, oh wow, we tried shout. For a film that was shot in 2016, that's like 7-8 years ago, right?
7 years.
It's still on Netflix. It's been relicensed twice on Netflix. There must be something that they feel.
Special.
And now the recent acquisition was to relicense it even for a longer period of another. The first one was 2 years. Now they relicense for 3 years. So in my understanding, it means they feel like, okay, it's still worthy of being on the platform for the next 3 years. Like the quality will still kind of still be valid. That for me, that's how I see. You see why I said it's just my own approach.
Yes.
That's how I see. That's how I work, and I quite share it with people around me. But again, I always tell them there's no one way to do it. But if you can explore my way, and if it brings good outcome, well, good. So get the right story, develop the story well, develop your characters well. Every money that you're spending on the film is going into this foundation. The foundation is the story. If the story is shitty, no matter the kind of camera, if you like, shoot it on LF, shoot it on cool anamorphic lens, the outcome will still be bad, right? But if the story is good and the characters are well developed, they feel like human. Shoot it on a full camera, people will watch it and they will never forget it.
Right. So, Sal, Free Cold Dishes is still in production.
Yeah.
And what should your fans expect? Can you give us a hint about where it might be released? Like, should they expect the same perspective from Akunde, or is something different? Just give us a tip of the iceberg. We're not asking for the full one.
Okay. So I shot Akunde in 2016, and now we're in 2023. That's like 7 years ago. I have grown mentally, creatively. I can tell you for sure, you can never be disappointed. You are about to experience a sweet cinematic experience. But sorry, you might not see it at the theaters because it's made for the streaming platform, right? And it's because we don't want to limit the exposure of the film. It's a Pan-African film shot in 4 African countries: Nigeria, Republic of Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, and Mauritania. So the market size and the audience size quite wide and diverse. So we want it to be released on platform that anybody anywhere in the world can access it. And it's a universal story. Quality-wise, watch out for it. Yeah.
So, as the director of Akonde, seeing the reception that the movie has gathered, I saw a lot of nominations and wins when I searched about it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? Was there a point where you almost gave up on that project, or it just went seemingly?
So for Akunde, it was pre-designed. Everything that all the challenges that we encountered on the film process was pre-designed. We knew what we were creating. We knew the challenges that we're going to. The first was distribution, right? We didn't use only the traditional means of distribution for Akunde. We did campus store for Akunde, and as at that time, nobody has done campus store like as successful as Akunde. And I would say as successful as Akunde because it was a very big success, right? And it was all designed from the beginning. It was all in the business plan, right? It wasn't. We released Akunde in years where most film that does well at the cinemas are purely comedy, like slapstick comedy. if I'm to put it that way. And this is like pure drama. Like, in fact, it's an inspirational drama. Like, it's a movie that if it's not in your interest, you could sleep. Because, right, we made it for a particular type of audience, and they are young, undergraduates, graduates, and maybe people that are still looking for a job, and then anybody that just love drama. Okay, and you can tell from the story. It's a story of a guy looking for a job and eventually had to explore opportunities in the rarest place and then make it at the end of it. So it's an inspirational film for people in uni that are feeling like, okay, their life is hard enough, not knowing that the job force waiting for you is actually tougher. So like this is like to give them a perspective of what's going on, like what you're going to deal with. But you can use this as a case study to start planning now. Like you could still be a student, like if you study agric science, you could start exploring products. You could own a farm. You don't have to have your farm in the most expensive place. You could go to the rarest place that you think nobody wants to even go, so that you can get access to cheap land, right? And build a farm. Like the story of Akunde, he made it by selling poo, cow poo, right? Who want to think of poo as a business? And it's real. Like it's not a fictional solution. It's actually a real solution that doesn't require a 10,000 naira cash. Even today, as bad as Nigerian economy today is, you don't need 10,000 naira to start making a cow tea, a manure tea with cow poo. You don't need it. You just need the interest, right, to create it. It's the packaging that will really cost you money. Like, do you get? So we know our audience, and we know how to reach our audience. If I need to get across, if I need to put this movie in the face of students in Nigeria, it's not in the cinema. So at that time, we don't even have the number of screens that we have today, right? But across Nigeria, across all states, there is minimum at least 3 to 4 institutions with huge number of students in all states in Nigeria. So why are we not going to campus? And then we used to have musical campus tour, although there was no movie tour then. So there were sponsors sponsoring musical jams, musical tours. And I felt like, okay, because of my experience in the corporate industry as well, I felt like, could I approach some of these brands and tell them, yo, we have this movie, we just finished distribution at the theaters, and we still want a lot of students to see it. It could come in the form of empowerment program under their CSR project, and get them to watch it for free, right? We'll bring some of the actors, celebrity meet and greet, take pictures and all of that. Yes. And then it sounded interesting to some. And then they came on board, and then we did across like 15 states in Nigeria.
Wow.
More than 28 campuses.
Wow.
We made insane money.
Wow.
Yeah, made good money. Like a lot of people had to reach me and say, yo, how about this? How did you distribute? How did you go? I'm like, yeah, it's simple. But again, the story needs to fit that class, like that environment. It must be something that students want to watch. Do you get? So some of the challenges, we already saw it coming. Like we had a challenge with distribution at the theaters, right? Because it wasn't the kind of film that was reigning in terms of outlook that time, right? So there was some reservation on, okay, maybe Nigerians won't like it. I felt like Nigerians will like it if you push it to them.
Yes.
And then we didn't get a good outing at the theater. But I wanted to go to the theater. Again, we saw that it might happen at the release of the film, and I said, you know what, we will still go to the theaters. And the reason why we'll go to the theater is so that when we're starting the campus tour campaign, students won't think that we're bringing a shitty movie to them, like film that is not cinema quality. Maybe that's why they want to bring it to campus. So let's go to the theater. The good thing with the theater, remember I said I have no issue with critics, right? I love critics. I said if this movie goes to the theater, we're going to get good review, because the critics will have something good to say about the movie. And then it will be a good thing that, okay, this movie that a lot of people are saying good of, like, and then we're bringing it to campuses, and then we want you to see it for free. And you get opportunity to even meet like Frank Donga or Toyin Abraham and take pictures. Like, yo, people will trick it. And it worked, right, at the end of the day. So most of the challenges, we saw it coming. The one around the finance, my way of thinking, right, is quite complicated. I don't love if people say things can be hard, or they say nobody has tried it before, hey, I'm the wrong person to say that to. Yeah, okay, now, okay, nobody has tried. Okay, I want to try it. We explore crazy means of raising finance that a lot of people now also explore after all said and worked. Like we did, it was the first crowdfunded film. Akunde, and our budget to the amount that we raised close to like 18 to 19% of the entire budget through crowdsourcing. And I'm not saying asking people. We went on to even develop a payment gateway with QuickTeller. I'm talking 2016, right? We went in tech scene, but we had this idea and we felt like, okay, how can we solve it? And then we approached QuickTeller. At that time, they were like, oh, this sounds genius. It's new. We haven't done it before, but we would love to explore it. Like, I don't need to send my account number to people. I can just give them our link on QuickTeller. You can pay directly on QuickTeller, right? So we came up with a lot of new ideas to solve some of the things that we knew might be blockholes for us in the process of the film. And those things it didn't solve all the problems, but it helped reduce some of the challenges, make it a bit much easier. And at the end of the day, we make the film. The film did well. It's still today, if I could say it, it's still the most traveled Nollywood film. What I mean, most traveled across festivals. It's still the most traveled film, Nollywood film. It's not the best of us, but it's a product that we were very proud of. We all learned, like myself and my friends, that we made it together. We all learned from the process, and then it also bettered a lot of great, solid guys in Nollywood today that are doing fantastically well in their field. Even some of them already have like 2 feature films like big films already on streaming platform. So. The challenges were there, but we faced it. We tried it. Like, imagine saying you want to go and shoot in the north during Boko Haram days. Like, I'm not saying now. I'm saying this is 2016, during the days of Boko Haram. Like, people thought I was crazy, but I thought it's going to give us a new, like, fresh look. We're going to have something fresh. And I've been there. I've been to Kaduna. Okay, I picked Kaduna because Kaduna seemed like out of the scope of states that were dealing with insecurity, right? And more friendly, almost similar to what I experienced in Lagos. Okay, and atmosphere was cool. The dense, the air is more cleaner than Lagos, right? If you take a picture in Kaduna, it looks finer than when you take it in Lagos. But it was also tough to convince people to gamble that risk. Some of our crew traveled by train to the north, so. Yeah, it was a crazy ride, but at the end of the day, the outcome was solid. Even today, you wouldn't make any easy film, right? Even with the best resources, you would never. You're like, body will touch you, but if you are very determined, you would definitely make it.
So, do you think the Nigerian movie industry generally, do you think it's favorable to beginners, actors, actresses, storytellers?
I think the Nigerian film industry is welcoming, and I think it's very open. It is one of the industry with limited gatekeepers for newcomers, and I'll tell you why. So we live in a world where if you're very intentional and you're very serious, you can actually make a movie, and it doesn't need to be. You can make a film, and it doesn't need to be a feature film. You can make a short film with limited resources. Find the rights. If you are from a film school, if you are studying cinematography, find another one in the school. Find the best graduating student from directing class. Find the best graduating student from the acting class. Yes. Find the best writing student and the best writer in the writing department, and collaborate. You guys come together. Oh yeah, you know what? I have this idea. You bring your own idea, let's do this together. You realize what you probably be spending money on is logistics, welfare, and maybe equipment. And if you guys are very serious, you might even have senior colleagues as friends that you can even approach and say, Ogami, we just graduated, want to do our project. I don't know if you can support us, and you might be willing to throw in maybe one or two cameras and all of that. And you don't need to make a cinema film to start. Mm-hmm. You don't need to be in Asurf films, Kuli Afolayan film, or Kemi Adetiba film, or Jade's film to actually get your voice out. There are guys shooting film now. They are content creator, Instagram skit maker, comedians now actually now shooting film, their own film that is not it's featurette, not like a feature film, like 40 minutes that they are releasing on YouTube. So what's your excuse? Like, and Nollywood is so diverse, right? That we have different categories. We have some people that only make movies for TV, like Africa Magic, Iroko, and they are doing fantastically well, right? In all categories, in all fields, as crew, creators, actors, like in all spaces, and that's the only region field that they are practicing. There are people that only makes YouTube films, and they are all doing very well. Only YouTube films. Go on YouTube, search Yoruba, Igbo films on YouTube. You will be shocked at the numbers that you see and the kind of views that you see. And these guys are making. You didn't hear from me, but it will shock you that some of the guys making movie on YouTube are making money more than the guy making movie for cinemas. Facts.
YouTube, please.
Wow.
Some, I said some, right? Right? So it's not also mean that it's everybody that is making movie on YouTube that are making money. Yes. But it's the same way as cinema. It's not all the movies that go to the theaters that makes money. Yes. There's some movie that makes 10 million, some movie make 100 million, some movie make 300 million, some movie make 200 million, some make 20 million. So it's very hard to just box everybody to say, okay, but there's huge possibility for your movie on YouTube to make money. Limited marketing budget. You technically can use anybody as an actor. You don't need a list. You don't need to shoot it on Harry. You can shoot it on Sony small camera, and if your story is good and people find it interesting, and the audience are diverse. It's not only Nigerian consumers. You have Nigerians in diaspora who would love to watch a lot on YouTube. Okay, so I would say the industry is very fair to newcomers. For newcomers that are very, very intentional. You don't have to be on the big. You can grow. Like nobody fly into flying. You walk, you crawl, you walk, and then you run, and then you fly. So be very intentional and be very fair. Judge yourself fairly. Ask yourself, okay, who are the guys that I can talk to? That who can I DM right now that can actually respond? Oh, I DM this big director. I DM this big director, no reply. I DM this big director, no reply. Okay, reply. I said, Ogami, I know if you use me in your film, they said, okay. This one said, okay. They didn't call me. They didn't call me. Bro, there are creators, there are filmmakers, young guys that want to create things. They're looking for actors. How about you approach those guys and then start? Because if you make a short film and then it blow up, and let's say you get nomination at AMVC, everybody will know you. Everybody will know about you. Because the media want to ask you a question. Oh, your short film, congratulations, your short film. That's how it like channels came through. They want to ask us questions. They want to interview me. TVC, Sound City, Tribes. Everybody wants to talk about this. This a day we dare. Tell us about it. I was on TV. Right. So always embrace the baby step. And be visible. Be visible means explore the accessible tools that are free that we have today, social media. Create what you can create right now. Post it on Twitter, post it on Instagram, post it on YouTube, share with your friends, beg your friends and family to reshare and get it out. Most big producers and directors are on those platforms. And when they scroll, the algorithm helps bring related content to their face. When they see something that is interesting, I can't even count the number of actors that I don't know. Right, young actors that I don't know, that I haven't seen in big projects, that I've bookmarked, that are in my contact, like my save, Instagram save, when I have project that I can use them for. And I will always reach out to them. And I don't know them, they have never reached me, but I discovered them on Instagram feed, right? Same with also creators, like some cinematographer, young cinematographers that I've seen, some editors, some colorists, and I've seen their work and just save and say, okay, when I have the right project, I can reach out to this guy. So, but if they don't create it, how would I say? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that makes sense.
So, who are your favorite actors and actresses?
I do not have favorite actors and actresses, and this is why. Okay. So, I write, I develop my stories, I cast based on the characters. Right? The only time that I cast for anything out of the character is maybe for business, for the business of film. So, okay, for sales, okay, we need this actor to boost sales. All right. But beyond that, I cast strictly for my character. You could be my best friend, an actor, and let's say I have a character, the body size is different, right? I cannot force you, or the age is different. Like if the age is 60 and you are 35, I'm not that. I'm not one of those character that director or producer or creator that want to age, but forcefully age a character, an actor that they just love to play old role that a young you could easily get older actors to play. So yeah, that's how it works for me. You know, I don't have favorites. Yeah, I have friends, like friends and colleagues in the industry that are my friends, and it's easy for me to reach out to them easily when they fit. And I'll tell you why. I have better negotiating power when I'm talking to them. So it's not a saying to say like a Wale Ojo as featured in like 3 of my stuff. It's because okay, maybe we're cool friends, and then when I have characters that I think it fits, before I consider 3 other actors that looks like him, it's easy for me to dance towards him because I know it's my guy that I can message. Egbon, I get one project to now this amount I get to alpha, and then we have a way of negotiating our way. Okay, it will easily bend for me than maybe somebody that I'm reaching for the first time, and I can easily explore like twerk, like frustrate him to conform to the character that we're both creating than maybe somebody that I'm working with for the first time. So yeah, those exceptions do works, but the first is that they fit the character that I'm using them for.
Okay.
But if you look through all my creations, you would hardly see any consistent character that is always, I don't have specific fans. I'm a friend of all the actors. When they write script is on my table, I'm the one in your DM, in your your email asking you, are you available? Right? Like Akunde now on 3 Cold Dishes, I think Ruby and Wale Ojo are the only returning actors that I've worked with before. And we have more than 10 top bill actors, lead actors in the film. So it means like 90% of the actors in the film, I'm working with them for the first time. So yeah, I don't have favorites. I just have, I'm friends to most of all the talented actors in Nigeria. And I love them all.
It's a good thing. Shout out to them.
As someone that has directed, let's say, some movies so far, how would you describe yourself to a new movie director, a new person, someone that is into movie world, cinematography, but the person is just starting, let's say this year? How would you describe yourself to him, and what advice would you give him or her?
I'm a bullish, I'm a very ambitious storyteller. Okay? Very, very ambitious storyteller. And I'm a sucker for story. Like, it is the story before anything. Right? So that is me. Right? I love to explore the business of film because I understand it as well. Right? So the grace to have grown from my independent learning, I'll say, has helped me in a way to define my own voice and my own principle and my own working approach. It doesn't mean it's the best. It doesn't mean it should be copied. But I think looking back, it kind of worked for me, and I'll keep on just boosting that template, tweaking that template, and making more better. But major for me would be the story. I spend more time developing my story, and I love good story. And when I mean story, I mean human story. Stories story with characters that look like people, like relatable people that I've encountered. I think one of the biggest problems in Nollywood today that I've seen is that we have so much story that we're not even telling. We have so much humans that we have, so much character that we have not humanized in our film. I'll give you an example. Have you seen cement trailer before?
Yes.
Have you seen the kind of men on those cement trailer? The guys that used to offload and load those cement.
Yes.
Have you?
Yeah.
Like, do you see what it look like during the day?
Yeah,
They feel like always like during people in Hamatan because they all filled with cement. It's not good to their health and their skin, but this is what they do to survive. Those people are humans. Some of them have wives and children. Some of them are single and in a relationship. They're dealing with what you and I are also dealing with in our relationship. Their approach to life is quite different. How about we humanize this? How come we don't have this kind of people as character in films? Why does our character have to be market women, Yaloja, Babaloja, police doctor, and lawyer? Like, they are organizers. And it could be a character, and it could be like the story could be, and the lead story character could be that. Do you understand? Right? So this is why I said this is how my own approach and my style to work a story, and if it's human enough that I feel like I have experienced or I've seen people around me that kind of look like this, it's easier for me to tell. Right? The technical part will come in easy because I already have a solid story then to tell. A visual story is quite a thing for me, right? Because I believe you could tell a compelling story visually than just always show us and tell us. Always tell us. You could say a lot with silence. And people, in fact, better because you now give the audience a mind to think, and then people start feeling and telling what you are not saying. And then you have people say different things and think this is what you, the director or the storyteller, is trying to say. Different, and they will defend the reason and they'll be arguing. I said, no, that's not what he's trying to tell me. That's not what they're doing. That's not what they say. That's not what is going on in the guy's head. That you have won. They can never forget that movie. They'll go and when they say, I remember that. Oh yeah, that film about this. Oh, that film about and then you start conversation. That's the way it is.
So you mentioned earlier that funding is one of the greatest challenge that a movie producer will expect in Nigeria.
Yeah.
In Hollywood. So do you have a specific funding strategy that works for you?
So there's no permanent strategy. My strategy has evolved. During Akunde, it was equity, finance, crowdfunding, and it was equity, finance, and crowdfunding. So I had one partner who is a friend in the UK that we worked together for a long time, and then so his company and my company, and then because I have worked with a lot of pretty much anybody that matters then in the entertainment industry. Just mention anybody that I've not worked with in 2016 in the entertainment industry. It means maybe they really don't matter. You understand? So and the way our work in the industry, I don't now it has changed then because it was an evolving industry. I mean, both the music, comedy, and the film. Film has gone broader then, but the music and the comedy industry is always everybody doing for I do for you, you do for me. So we that are the workers, we're all salary. So you just do for everyone. Just knows, okay, this guy is good though. So if I want to do my own, I'll call this guy. Kind of. So I feel like there's so many people in the industry that are in their debt book. Like I can call and say, Baba, Alpha, I want to do my own first film. I might not come to you for the next film, but this is my first film. You have to support me. Which was the reason I felt that okay, let me use the crowdfunding route because I know I could call one or two people that could help me share, that could even do a video for me and say, yo, my name is this. I know Asurf to be a this and that is doing your film. If you can support the film and donate, and that works for Akunde, right? I know that it will be very hard for me to do crowdsourcing again for another film. It will be like, so this guy beggy. Every time they always come and do crowdfunding. So for 3 cold dishes, because the budgets are also way apart. In Kakundi, I think equivalent in dollars, it was as at that time in 2016, we spent 27 million naira. And that time, dollar, it should be around like $100,000 then, dollar rate. 3 cold dishes is close to 700K.
Wow.
Right? So look at the gap in the financing, right? So it means I have to be talking to not the kind of people that I'm also talking to that I talked to that time. And then because it's also not only Nigerian story, I have to expand my reach. So some of the guys that, luckily for me, that I met through the activation of Akunde, as Akunde was travel, they carry me, fly me, go this place, that I've built network. So they've already seen my work. They already have confidence in my work. I was also reaching them, I'm working on my new project and I'm looking for collaborators, partners, and I was able to get one that pull in another person, and like that. We have co-production companies from France, Netherlands, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria on 3 cold dishes, right? So on equity side, and we also got grants, right? So this time around, we didn't do crowdfunding, but because the project's maybe solid, we got some public funding. We got up to 100,000 US dollars, not from one place, in France and also in Saudi Arabia. So you can look at these 2 different regions, and the film 3 cold dishes is like the first of representation from this side in those 2 places. So something must have been unique about it for them to find it interesting enough. In 2016, through crowdfunding, I was able to raise 1.8 million naira. That time, I don't know what is valued in dollars, but this time I was able, through public fund, I was able to raise 100,000 US dollars, which is free money. Although the process takes long, quite a lot of documentation, quite a lot of also learning process. But we went from here, went way, and then the fact that it works, I also learn. It also has its own good and bad. One of it is that getting grants is not a route that you go and ask and expect they will respond to you in 1 month. You have to apply to many grants, and they all have cycles. We're doing fundraising, like raising fund for the film, for almost 2 years. So it means a lot of people have done like 5 films, 2 films, 3 films. They don't even move on. You still day one, right? So we've learned the pros and cons of that route. We know how to better explore it if it's needed to explore another time. Equity back. There is also debt financing route that we've also explored. So literally, every means of film financing that I understand very well have been explored on 3 cold dishes. And there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. You the creator, you the producer. You just need to find that thing that you can convince anybody to get their 1 naira from, to commit to your own idea that you just have in your head that you want to create, and they believe in it, that they will not lose and they will make profit, right? But there's, at least I've shared more than like 6 routes to raise finance, and not just as a foreigner, now as a Nigerian, like that I use in Nigeria. Some are not popular, but I could raise significant amount of money through it. So it means if I can do it, any other person can do it. Was it easy? Hell no. So it's going to be tough. You have to understand, like at least I've shared enough to understand. You can research more to understand it. So debt financing works, equity financing works, grants works, crowdfunding works. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Honestly, it's been a very nice ride. I actually enjoyed listening to everything.
You people should just buy me beer.
That's the only missing thing, but we can make it work. I learned that while you're doing your stuff, you're supposed to let your own pace do the talking. You don't have to follow everyone. Thank you for that, because now everyone is so pressured by social media and that, the aesthetics and all of that. So thank you so much for having us. So our viewers, I'm sure we've learned 1 or 2 things today. Thank you very much. This is Still Writing Theatre. See you next time.
Peace out.